Hashem Yahushua. Hashem Kakadash. We good.
Shalom. It's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone, because that's where we get majority of our learning from. They man of the Lord, so we got to give them their double honors. Double honors to all the brothers in this truth, too. That's pushing this word, that's doing as much as they can to push this word. So this is a podcast that I want to do, that I want to start doing, that I want to start putting up on the channel. So I just set it up myself in my own home and everything like that, so you get to actually know me and just motivate me to do the work more. So what times are we living in is the question. Let's come in, let's talk some prophecy. So we see prophecies happen. We see times. You got people that know what's going on, then you got people that don't know what's going on, and then you got sinners, and then you got people that's repenting, that's returning back to the Lord. It's all a part of prophecy. So I'm going to pull some scriptures, I'm going to go through some videos and some real life information and stuff like that. This is here. Since that one just came on top of the head. So it's going to be raw, uncut, and we're going to get better at this podcast as time goes. As time goes, and we're going to get better at it. So this is Daniel 12, so I'm going to do everything uncut. This is Daniel 12, chapter 12, and then it says, verse 1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standing for the children of thy people, and there should be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same place. And at that time thy people should be delivered, everyone that should be found written in the book. So this is saying, like, during these end times, the times that we live in right now, it's going to be a time like never before, a time of trouble. Now, one thing I want to note is there's a lot of podcasts, Edomite podcasts, other podcasts and stuff like that. They talk about the scriptures, but you never see them actually reading out the Bible. You never see them actually reading it to see if they know what they're doing. So that's why I know what they're talking about. So that's why I want to do it raw. I want to give it to you raw so you can see me going through the scriptures and reading them the same way you can read them. But the thing is a time like never before, a time of trouble. Jeremiah 30 talks about Jacob's trouble. But verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. So people are awakening during these times and realizing what's going on. Of the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So some people are waking up to shame, some people are waking up to everlasting life. Right? This is verse 10. Many should be purified and made right and tried with the wicked, but the wicked should do wickedly. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So that's what I was saying. People are waking up. Some people know what's going on. Some people don't know what's going on. So you have to be able to measure the times diligently and get you an apocrypha, because this is a part of the Bible. It's a part of the original 1611 Bible. This is important when it comes to understanding the whole full story. Here, let me see if I can find what I wanted. And second address, chapter 9. He says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou see a part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So you have to measure the times diligently. So that's why I said, come in, let's talk prophecy, and let's figure out what's going on. So you just had the elections. You had people were voting, but there's scripture, and I believe it's Deuteronomy, but it's in the Old Testament where it's talking about if we put a king over us, we have to put a king of our own people. Just like when King Saul was anointed, he was the king of Israel. The Israelites are the Native Americans, blacks, Hispanic, men of that descent, and there's a whole 12 tribe chart that you can find on Google by just typing in 12 tribe chart Israel. And you can see who the true Israelites are on the planet Earth. Now those true Israelites, for them to vote, they would have to put a king over them of their own people. But really, we already have a king set up now. We have a king, which is Yahweh Shai, which is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. That's not his actual name. The thing is that he was a Hebrew, so he had a Hebrew name. So if you actually do some research and find out his Hebrew name, it goes back to Yahweh Shai, which means he who delivers, or he, the savior. He's the savior of Israel. So now we see with this presidential election, you have Biden that's won it. He's the presidential elect. So what's happening is a lot of people are happy. You're having parades all over the United States, and not even just the United States. You're having outside countries that's also happy, also rejoicing, also thinking, things are going to be good now that they have Trump or they have Joe Biden, but you're in for a rude awakening. When you find out that there's really people behind the scenes that never leave office, or their positions that's really controlling things. The president is the face guy. So in this podcast, we're going to give you the truth, the raw, unfiltered truth about these things. You can look these things up yourself, and if you feel hurt about it, then that's good, because it means that it's afflicting your soul. When you learn something new and truth, sometimes your soul is going to get afflicted. This is a video. I'm going to let it play. Maybe it picks up, but you can hear some more information on, these different countries and different people all around the world kind of thinking that we're going into a time of peace. But remember, Daniel said that it's going to be a time of trouble like never before. Let's let this go.
And its democracy as flawed. But even inside the Kremlin, they may be looking forward to a more predictable American president. America's made its choice. And its choice is a man who rarely leaves his basement, who often doesn't know where he is. That's our propaganda outlet.
Georgia.
U.S. intelligence concluded that Russia in 2016 election, and U.S. officials warned it was doing the same this year, seeking to damage Joe Biden. But political analyst Maria Littman believes that Russia is disappointed Trump administration, in part for failing to ease sanctions, and may welcome a more conventional president.
He will be more a kind of man of the establishment, not erratic as Donald Trump, and this in itself is an advantage.
There were no warm congratulations from Iran.
Iran's president has called for the return of the next U.S. administration to its obligations.
He hoped the U.S. would now return to the Iran nuclear deal, which President-elect Biden has pledged to do. China's state media has also reveled in America's election turmoil. But its leaders hope that Joe Biden will resolve the trade war started by President Trump.
I look forward very much to working with President Biden and his team on a lot of crucial stuff for us in the weeks and months ahead.
And the mayor of Paris tweeted simply, "Welcome back, America." Many of America's allies want to return to U.S. leadership under President-elect Biden, whether it's supporting the World Health Organization or rejoining the Paris Agreement on climate change. Margaret?
Holly Williams in Moscow.
There's been some surprising and some not so surprising reaction from world leaders about the new American president. CBS News foreign correspondent Holly Williams reports from Moscow.
Good morning. Russia's state media has portrayed this U.S. election as chaotic and its democracy as flawed. But even inside the Kremlin, they may be looking forward to a more predictable American president. America's made its choice. And its choice is a man who rarely leaves his basement, wants to look at who he is. That's a team often referred to as a Russian propaganda outlet.
4 years of Georgia.
U.S. intelligence concluded that Russia interfered in the 2016 election, and U.S. officials warned it was doing the same this year, seeking to denigrate Joe Biden. But political analyst Maria Littman believes that Russia is disappointed in the Trump administration, in part for failing to ease sanctions, and may welcome a more conventional president. He will be more the kind of man of the establishment.
So, like they said, welcome a more conventional president. And like this is the woman saying he'd be more, you know, of the saying he's not going to be erratic.
This in itself is an advantage. There were no warm congratulations from Iran. The U.S. president has got
Whoa, so even right there you have Iran sending congratulations over, you know, because Iran had a big conflict with the way that Trump was handling things. So they were waiting and putting off things to see if who was going to be the next president. Now that Joe Biden is in there and he's the president-elect, now Iran is saying, okay, thank you. We were happy, you know, okay, things are going to go back to normal. It's going to be peace on Earth. See, they're trying to return to the nuclear. Agree. Deal.
State media has also reveled in America's election turmoil. But its leaders hope that Joe Biden will resolve the trade war started by President Trump.
So you got Iran that's saying, okay, maybe we could re-enter the nuclear deal. And then you have China saying, okay, maybe they have stopped the trade war now that Biden's in. So everybody's happy that Biden has gotten into office, you know.
Crucial stuff for us in the weeks and months ahead.
And the mayor of Paris tweeted simply, "Welcome back, America."
I'm going to leave it there. Now you got the mayor of Paris saying, welcome back, America. And a lot of different places are thinking that. So they're thinking, okay, everything's about to be good. But remember, we're living in a time of prophecies. So the prophecies, for you to know what time it is, like 2nd Esdras said, measure the time diligently. You have to know, you have to be able to understand these prophecies and see what's coming. So we know from the Bible, because all the prophecies in the Bible have came true. Not all of them, there's still some that's waiting to be fulfilled, but there's very minimum of them during these last times that need to be fulfilled. Things like the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, which is the micro implant chip that they're going to come with, and that's why they're coming with the whole COVID-19 thing, get everybody vaccine. Then in order, you can get vaccine all you want, how are you going to be able to prove it? When the stores start putting up signs that vaccine only, how are you going to be able to prove that you got the vaccine? Well, they're going to need some type of tracer device, which is going to all lead into the implant chip, which is the mark of the beast. Coin shortages, which means everything's going to go digital. Everything's going to be on your implant chip. You know, there's videos out there showing different places like Sweden that's got the implant chip. Most of their people have it, and they're saying, you know, in certain time periods, the whole world's going to have the implant chip. That's what they're saying. You know, different places, even in the United States, are implementing that implant chip. So that's what the mark of the beast is. That's a prophecy that has to be fulfilled. You got a prophecy of 2/3 of the Israelites, you know, guys that's going along with Esau kingdom, the guys that don't want to follow the Lord, that's going to be wiped out. Then you got 1/3 that's going to be saved. That's another prophecy that we're waiting for. We're waiting for the famine of the word. We're waiting for nuclear war and conflict, which is why these other nations are looking so hard on America, because they know that it's a possibility there could be nuclear war and conflict. And then the last prophecy is the elect being saved. You get that in Revelation chapter 7. I'm not going to pull it, but you get then you get the kingdom of heaven being established. That's the last final prophecy, is the kingdom of heaven and the Lord dwelling with man on earth. Just to run through it a little bit more. But this is 1 Thessalonians 5. I'm going to start at the beginning. It says, but of the times and the seasons. So there we go again. Talking about the times. Measure the time diligently. The times and the seasons. So you can feel it that we're at the end. Right? But no man knows the exact day. So it says, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night. So these other countries and all these people that celebrate, they're going to be caught out there without seeing the Lord come, because he's going to come like a thief in the night. You don't see the thief coming because he comes at night. That's what's going to happen, because they think everything's going to go back to normal. And it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, the sudden destruction shall come upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. So that's how we know what's going to happen. We're talking about prophecy, right? So this is prophecy. People are going to say peace and safety. Enter the peace treaty. Enter the nuclear war, the nuclear weapon deal with Iran. Stop the sanctions and end the trade war. Peace and safety. We want peace. We want peace and safety. And that's what people are going to say. And then the Lord said, because all word in the Bible is inspired by the Lord. So it's the same thing as it coming from the Lord. The Lord said that sudden destruction should come upon them. So you have this sudden destruction as travail upon a woman with a child, and they should not escape. You know, flip the page. It says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief. So brothers like me, brothers in the truth, that understand these prophecies, you that understand these prophecies that's receiving it, you're not going to be caught out there. You're not going to be in darkness because you already was bracing and preparing yourself, spiritually preparing yourself. All the other stuff is vain, but spiritually preparing yourself that, okay, we're living in the end times and sudden destruction is coming. You know, verse 5 says, ye are all the children of light and the children of day. We are not of night nor of darkness. You know, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. So during these times, we're not into the NBA. Brothers watch sports on their, you know, on their downtime and stuff like that. But that's not our main focus. Is okay, NBA, NFL, sports, entertainment, singers, rappers, who's doing this and who's doing that. No, our main focus that comes first is this truth in these scriptures, because we're not asleep. We're keeping watch. We're keeping watch on the things, and we keep watch on the elections. We keep watch on natural events that's happening around our earth, natural weather events. We keep watch on things that's building up, that's leading to the mark of the beast, the implant chip. We keep a watch on all these things day and night. We're meditating on these things, so therefore we're not going to be caught off guard because we're measuring the time diligently. You know, here. So this is uncut, raw. This is the Israelite Covenant Podcast. That's what I'm going to name it off the top of the head right now. So this is Job chapter 20, starting at verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly. So when America, this place, and you get America in Revelation chapter 18, Mystery Babylon is America. You know, we can go through it and prove that too. But in Job 20, when he is about to fill his belly, this is talking about the wicked of earth. Malachi chapter 1 tells you that Edom is the most wickedest on earth. You can look that one up yourself though. But it says, on his belly God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So while he's saying, okay, we got our one world order. We got peace and safety, peace and safety. Everybody's in order. We have one world order. We're coming with the implant chip. You know, we're coming with the mark of the beast. We're getting people vaccine. Everything's going back to normal. And we're getting this one world order that we wanted. We're doing away with cash, and we're coming with the implant chip, right? Then he's going to feel like his belly is full. He completed it. He finally got the one world order, right? And then it says, but God shall cast fury upon him, his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So while he's eating, in the midst of him completing his one world order, the Lord is going to rain wrath on him, you know? And then this is a key thing. It says, verse 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So you're talking about iron weapon. This is talking about nuclear war. And I'm going to pull that too. This is talking about nuclear war, an iron weapon, which is why Iran wants them to go into a nuclear deal so bad. Because they know once those iron weapons get like a bow of steel shall strike come through, and they get to go in different places, it's over. It's World War III, it's Armageddon, and it's over. And that's going to be how this world is destroyed, the second death. As you remember, Noah in the first death was by water, by flood. The Lord made a covenant with the earth, an agreement with the earth that he would never flood the earth again. That's why you have the rainbow as a symbol for that. That's what the rainbow means. Now, he said the second death will be by fire and brimstone. through these precepts like this one, we understand that fire and brimstone is going to come by the way of war. That's going to be nuclear weapons that's going to rain down onto the earth in different places. But mostly here in America, it's going to be completely destroy and wipe off the earth. That's what Revelation 18 is talking about. But let's go get some more details when it says it is drawn and coming out of the body. So this is talking about an iron weapon, a bow of steel that's drawn and it comes out the body. Yeah, the glittering sword. So it looks like a glittering sword. This ain't talking about you pulling a gun. This is talking about something that's going to be in the sky that's going to look like a shooting star, a glittering sword, right? Coming out of his God. Terrors are upon him. And when it comes down, terrors are going to be upon everybody, you know? It says, all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It should go ill with him that is left in the tabernacle. So let's pull more to show you that the Bible actually does speak about nuclear warfare. It speaks about it a lot, actually, especially when you get to Revelations. How could we talk about prophecy without going into the book of Revelations? Of course, this is Revelations chapter 6. I'm going to get straight to the point. Chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. So we know that in order for the sun to become black, it's talking about the sun is blocked out. Whatever debris that's in the sky is blocking the sun out to the point where it becomes black. Now, there's two things that could cause that. There is a volcano, a gigantic volcano, a super volcano eruption that could spit dirt and all that stuff into the air that could block out the sun, and it does cause a great earthquake and all that stuff. But this is how we know it's talking about nuclear war, nuclear weapons, ICBM nuclear weapons over a volcano. Verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree causes her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So have you ever seen stars? Have you ever seen a fig tree cast her untimely figs? The way that they all fall down to the ground. They look like, if on a larger scale, when those nuclear weapons are coming and you have hundreds of thousands of them, because there's more than what they're saying, and they're all coming from, they go up to space, and then they look like stars coming down back from space, and they all fall and hit different places. They rain down like a fig tree casting her untimely figs, right? And it says, and this is another key thing, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island are moved out of their places. So we know when the heaven is departed as a scroll, that's what we know today as a mushroom cloud. So you got to remember, John the Revelator was trying to explain the visions that he was having the best he can during his time. He didn't know, he couldn't say nuclear weapons because that wasn't the term during the time. But today we know, okay, this is talking about nuclear warfare. This is talking about a mushroom cloud, right? Because verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great man, and the rich man, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, every freeman, all men hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountain. So all men, whenever there's a nuclear war going on, or there's a bomb or anything, what's the first thing that happens? What did we learn in school? They tell you to go into the basement. They tell you to go into the hallways. They tell you, okay, if you have shelter somewhere, get down to the lowest floor. Get down to your basement. If you have a bunker, get into your bunker. Get into your dens and these different things, because a nuclear weapon's about to be dropped. So that's how we know this is talking about nuclear warfare. You know the signs. Verse 16, it said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lord. For the great day of his wrath come, and who should be able to stand? So this is all coming by the way of the Lord. So can man on earth stop this from happening? Can man on earth change anything? Change prophecy from happening? No. This is going to happen regardless, because this is the way of the Lord doing it. That's why we're living in a time like never before. We're seeing civil unrest like we've never seen before. We're seeing nuclear conflict that's going to get very bad. It's all leading to something very bad. We're seeing disasters, famines, plagues. Here, grab that real quick and then I end it out. Because we talk about, remember, measuring the time diligently, seeing the seasons and the times to come and stuff like that. This is Matthew chapter 24. It says, and ye, I'm going to get straight to the point, verse 6, and ye should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be war. What does nation and nation, when they fight against each other, what do they use? They use nuclear weapons, missiles, short range, medium range, long range missiles. Kingdom, especially during these days. And kingdom against kingdom, there should be famines. We're seeing famines coming. There's going to be a famine of food, and there's going to be a famine of hearing this word. Something might happen with the internet that brings it down. You ain't going to be able to hear the word anymore. Or they're going to tighten up with their new world order and stop people and take people out that's trying to bring out the truth. Just like you've seen in China when the COVID-19 hit them. They start suppressing people and taking people out. You've seen pesticides, which is like virus, the coronavirus that we're speaking about. And earthquakes in diverse places. We just had a whole bunch of earthquakes in Alaska. We just had a whole bunch of earthquakes over there in California, in Nevada, in that area, you know, in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And so these are the beginning of sorrows that we're starting to see. And what is all this going to lead to? It's going to lead up to prophecy being fulfilled. Eventually, the kingdom of heaven. But before that, you have the mark of the beast. You have the Jacob's trouble. You know, you have those things. Here, let me see. This is Isaiah chapter 13. And then we get straight to the point. Verse 6. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. So we keep pulling all these scriptures that's talking about the day of the Lord. And it's all talking about destruction and fear and a time of trouble. It's never talking about peace and safety. They're going to yell peace and safety, then sudden destruction is going to come. And it says, it should come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart should melt. So people are going to be scared. Men are getting scared now. But now men are starting to rejoice because Biden is in office. But when that sudden destruction hit, people are going to be faint. They're going to be scared. They're going to be like, whoa, the second lockdown? And it says, and they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he should destroy the sinners thereof of it. So we could figure this out and say that most people on earth are sinners, but there's a difference between sinners and those who sin but are willing to repent in their spirit, and they believe in the Lord and they're trying to follow the Lord and repent. Now, there's people that sin willfully, that don't care, that's not trying to do that because the Lord put that on them. He made that their lot. So the thing is the Lord's come back with fierce anger to lay the land desolate. That's because this world is wicked, you know. And he should destroy the sinners thereof of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof should not give their light. The sun should be darkened. So there it goes again, talking about the sun. So something's going to happen where the sun's going to be darkened. The skies are going to be darkened in his going forth. And the moon should not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold. For a man to be more precious than fine gold, that means that there's going to be very little man left standing. You know, it's going to be an amazing thing for you to see another man, because it's going to be great famines, pesticides. A lot of people are going to die during these times. That's why it's called a time of trouble, like never before. Every man that golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as a chased roe And as a sheep that no man taketh up, they shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. That's important. Because the thing is, like, if you know the story of Moses in Egypt, the Lord doesn't have to literally come back and do things himself. Even though this second time will be when the Lord is coming back. But even when the Lord comes back, he uses different hosts, meaning that he uses different armies. He uses nuclear weapons. And they become his army, and he uses them for his purpose, because he controls the hearts of men, just like he did with Pharaoh in Egypt. He used plagues. He plagues the water. He can bring a famine. You know, he could bring locusts. He could bring different weather, earthquakes, natural disasters, tsunamis. You know, we see a lot of hurricanes that keep hitting around the same area. Every other week, there's a different hurricane that's about to hit. You know, that's the Lord's host. He uses those things to bring down. And he's going to use those things to punish the wicked and punish this world. You know, so that's how we know these things are of the Lord. War, he controls if somebody goes to war or not, because he controls the hearts of their kings. You know, and this is saying that they shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. So when that destruction comes, men are going to flee to their own people. You know, if you're a Chinese man, you're gonna want to flee back to China. If you're a Russian man, you're gonna want to flee back to Russia. Everybody's gonna be with their people, you know. But everyone that is found should be thrust through, and everyone that is joined into them shall fall by the sword. So everyone that's joined into the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, here in America, everybody that wants to say, "No, I'm American. No, I'm with them. No, I'm gonna fight for them. Oh, I'm joined to them." Well, the Lord is bringing down judgment on this place. So you're going to be caught up in that judgment too if you can't let go. And if you're joined into them, you're going to fall by what? Fall by the sword, meaning that a lot of people are going to be out here picking up arms and swords, fighting against each other because of lack of bread, because of famine, because of hard times. And you're going to fall by it. That's the Lord's judgment, and it's righteous. It says, "Their children also shall be dashed in pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished." So this lets you know what type of Lord you're dealing with. You're not dealing with the Lord that they falsely put out there to the world. You're dealing with a man of war, you're a Lord of war, and you're dealing with stuff like this. Children being dashed in pieces, houses being spoiled, wives being ravished. That means wives are going to be taken, raped. That's what it means. This is unfiltered. This is raw, reading it straight from the scriptures. Look up what the meaning wives being ravished mean. And tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as gold they shall not delight in it." Money's not going to mean anything. You can have a whole bunch of money stacked up. You can have a whole bunch of stuff, of goods or whatever stacked up. That's not going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is you trying to survive, which is going to come back to you wanting food. You're going to want food so you can eat and survive. All that other stuff ain't going to matter anymore, because that's the times we're coming in. "In Babylon, the glory, kingdom, and the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." How did he overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah? With fire and brimstone, rain from the heavens. So in this time, it's going to be fire and brimstone, but that fire and brimstone the Lord's going to use with nuclear weapons, which gives you the same effect as fire and brimstone, but it gives you the big mushroom clouds. It gives you the sun being blocked out. It gives you a nuclear winter. It gives you contamination, which Revelations talk about the seas and the water being contaminated too when different nukes hit different places. Let's end with this. Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 14. "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." See, and this is how you know the Apocrypha goes right along the Bible. Because you see what I just read. You know, children being dashed, houses being spoiled, and wives being ravished, right? This is 2 Esdras 15. In the Apocrypha, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh." Now, in Isaiah 13, it said, in 15, it says, "Joined unto them shall fall with the sword." See, it goes right along perfect. "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh." There it goes again, talking about destruction. "And one people should stand up to fight against another people, and swords in their hands." Isaiah 13. as a sheep that no man taketh up, they shall every man turn to his own people and flee to his own way. I mean, see, there you go. For there should be sedition among men and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and in the course of their actions shall stand in power. So we've seen with the whole Michigan thing trying to kidnap their governor recently. They're not regarding their kings and they're fighting against them. They're not regarding their governments and stuff like that. A man should desire to go into the city and should not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and a man should be afraid. A man should have no pity upon his neighbor, but should destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And then right back here in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 16, the children also shall be dashed in pieces before their eyes, the houses shall be spoiled. The same thing is said in 2 Esdras 15, and their wives ravished. So those are the times we're coming in, and that's a major prophecy that we're seeing actually take place and being fulfilled right now in this time live. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say salvation to the elect, shalom. This is the Israelite Covenant Podcast. And I'm going to leave it there and let out there. I just want to, before we go, I just want to say, you know, if you're an Israelite by blood, your seed, your lineage goes back to Jacob, the man Jacob, which will make you an Israelite, because that's who salvation is for. I want to say, have faith in the Lord. Have faith in the Lord, you know. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, and continue doing the work and continue progressing. Put the extra effort there to progress in this truth and learn more. Salvation to the elect. Shalom.